Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Amarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is one of the most popular tourist destinations in North America. And if you walk around Niagara Falls during the summer months, you'll always see someone who has a pole with a flag or an umbrella. Who are they? They're the tour guides, no? That you have to follow them around so you don't get lost. Now that's just for a simple journey within a small city that one needs a guide. The Sanskrit or Vedantic word for guide is Deshika. A Deshika is someone who's oriented to living, to life, so they can help others get oriented towards the same. Our yatras are like a Deshika. They've helped us treat every experience of ours as a yatra. That the best in us has been brought out through our yatras, that the best in us should be brought out all the time. Another word for yatra is tirtha. And tirtha means that which helps us cross over. Cross over anything that's holding us back. Physically, imagine a large tree is stopping you from crossing over. A river is stopping you from crossing over. So tirtha helps us to cross over vices. Helps us to cross over confusions. Now that's not possible by a physical place only. Imagine how many people go to Varanasi and come back the same. How many people go to Mathura to drink lassi? They come back the same. They come back heavier and poorer. A tirtha can only work when you find satsang. Our yatras, the traveling revolved around satsangs, not the other way around. The satsangs didn't revolve around traveling. That would just be a vacation. So as you go about your Jivan Yatra, remember the only way that you can cross over what's holding you back now, what's making you dependently joyous, is satsang. Associate with nobility, associate with the truth. In Manah Shodanam, in the 7th shloka, Swami Tejamananda shares so many ways for us to live a life of purification. Many, many, many ways of engaging in whatever we're already doing, changing our vision towards that so purity develops. Calmness of body, quietness of mind, stillness of intellect. Purification enables introspection, also known as Shravana. Without living a life of purification, we will never be able to appreciate Shravana or introspection. Lots of people physically engage in hearing, but they're not internalizing that. They feel that that subject is for later in their life or for someone else. There's not enough purity there. So purification enables Shravana or introspection. Shravana enables Manana or reflection. Manana enables Nididhyasana or contemplation. And Nididhyasana enables Samadhi or meditation. Another word for this lifestyle of purity is Bahiranga Sadhana. Bahiranga means it's, external is the wrong word, it's preparation sadhana for Antaranga Sadhana, which is to introspect, reflect, and contemplate. So all of this is shown in Shloka 7. And in Shloka 8, Swami Tejamananda is discussing what we're doing right now, how we're engaged in each experience. And I brought up two types of intellects, two types of buddhis. There's the sukshma buddhi that tries to learn from every experience. The sukshma buddhi is the one that focuses on goodness. And then there's the tikshana buddhi. The tikshana buddhi is the one that focuses on smartness, on sharpness. Our families, our communities, our societies, unfortunately, are encouraging tikshana buddhi, that smartness, that sharpness, that secular mindset. And this is causing a lot of destruction. Environmentally, there's a lot of destruction. Internally, there's a lot of destruction. And we'll study today how when we're unaware of how we respect tikshana buddhi, we can never grow. We have to be sensitive that our value system may not be healthy. So you be careful about, do you respect a sukshma buddhi or a tikshana buddhi? We continue with Shloka 9. Nahi jnanena sadrisham, nahi jnanena sadrisham, pavitram iha vidyate, pavitram iha vidyate, bahavo jnana tapasa, bahavo jnana tapasa, putamadbhavamagataha, putamadbhavamagataha. Together. Nahi jnanena sadrisham, pavitram iha vidyate, bahavo jnana tapasa, putamadbhavamagataha. Where have you seen this first line before? Where have you seen this first line before? This first line is the slogan for Chinmaya Yuva Kendra. If you ever see the chick symbol with the diya, it always has this writing there too. And this is sourced from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. This is a popular and a powerful line that we see a lot, that we're now going to think about. The first quarter, nahi jnanena sadrasham, that there is nothing like knowledge. And this is not the knowledge we get in our workplace or in our schools. There's nothing like knowledge about happiness. What's the opposite of knowledge? Ignorance, or avidya. And whenever you think of avidya, you should think about the hridaya grandhihi. These are the knots in one's heart. And for all of those in the Upadesha Sara course, we're going to focus a lot on this tomorrow. You've all had acid reflux before, indigestion. You know, there's like a tightness. I don't think anyone here has experienced any sort of cardiac arrest. So we'll just stick with, poor health with our digestive system. There's so much tightness, yes? And you're ready to do anything to let that go. Take this medicine, go for a walk, eat this, don't eat this. But we have that perpetually in the knots to our potential, which are avidya, kama, karma. 3 knots. Ignorance, which causes desires, which causes actions. And why Bhagavan Krishna, why Swami Tejamananda is focusing on knowledge here? Because the source of this tightness, this smallness in my life is avidya. And the cure for that, the most direct cure for that, the only cure for that is vidya. In this case, the word jnana is used. It is direct. And explaining this some more, the next quarter says, pavitram iha vidyate. Here, there's nothing more purifying. So earlier, there's nothing like knowledge. Why knowledge? Because this is purifying. Many of the sadhanas we engage in, many of the yogas we engage in, try to purify the ego. Try to control the ego. Now, one cannot purify or control the ego fully. It's not possible. Just like you can't exhaust all vasanas, which we've studied in different ways. Cannot exhaust all vasanas. When it comes to vidya and jnana, it's not about purifying the ego, it's about transcending the ego. In the context of vasanas, it's not about exhausting vasanas, it's about not identifying with vasanas. So this is what's being elaborated in this first line, the directness of knowledge. The efficacy of knowledge. Everything else is indirect. Everything else we do that's self-development oriented. The ego then goes around claiming how much self-development I'm engaged in, how much I've evolved. The third quarter says, Bahavo jnana tapasa, that many have engaged in the tapas of focusing on jnana. Many have engaged in the expansion of their hearts through knowledge. Our scriptures are a mirror. When I was in the Vedanta course, and it was 2 months into the course that we had our first private meeting with our resident acharya. In my case, it was Swami Tejamananda. And I was the last student to go and meet him because of my name. and I sat down in his kutia. How many of you have been to, now it's changed, but how many of you have been to Guruji's original kutia at Sandipani? Yeah, I think some of you have. Okay, so it's really small. For you know where I am right now, it's probably half the size of this place. And he's sitting in his chair, and I walk in and I sit near him, and he says, "So Vivek, what's on your mind?" And I said, "Swamiji, I've never lived in an ashram. I don't know anyone who's lived in an ashram, so I don't know if I'm doing anything right or wrong." And he smiled and said, "If you were doing anything wrong, I would have told you." And that was a big relief, because so far he didn't say anything. So 2 months were all right. And it's also a big relief to have someone in your life that will tell you if you're doing something wrong, isn't it? How much we pay for cars that tell us when we're drifting out of our lane, or we're too close to the person in front of us. Yeah? Now imagine someone doing that with you when it comes to morality, when it comes to potential. My second question was, how do I become a better student? How do I make more of my experience here? And he said, study the scriptures. They are a mirror to your personality. And when he said that, I thought, it's evening time, I'm the last student. He's just putting out some mantra that I'm supposed to just accept it and walk away with that. He just wanted me to leave. And it was only after I did start to study the scriptures that I realized the truth of what was being shared. To invoke jnana is most definitely a tapas. When you study the scriptures, you come to know the difference between what you are and what you think you are, isn't it? We all think that we're such clear communicators, but if we actually got into other people's minds to find out if they understood what we're talking about, there'd be such a discrepancy. It really does burn when we realize how hypocritical we are, how dependently joyous we are, no? And so the jnana tapasa here is, we should want to see what's wrong with us. We need to have the courage to accept that we are ignorant. That's the tapas. And most people don't want to do that, isn't it? Many of your family members don't want to do that. Yes? But there are lots of people who have, and so they have become puta. Puta means pure. And they become so puta, so pure, that they become transcendental. Hence, mad bhavam agataha. They have come to me. They have become me. And who's me here? Bhagavan Krishna. These lines are from Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavan Krishna here. What's so lovely about this idea of bhavam, of they've become me? When you stop becoming, what are you doing? Being. With knowledge, you don't have to do anything. That's what's important, because we're always doing something. There's no need to do anything. Knowledge is different. For those in the Setukari class, I had mentioned our happiness is not about what we're doing, but our happiness will be facilitated by not doing desire, not doing anger, not doing dependency on doing. When we stop all of this doing, we will naturally be joyous. So here, these people who have brought in this purity, they've realized there's no purpose. There's no finality in being an extrovert. Puta, and puta sounds like putana, doesn't it? Like Bhagavan Krishna's putana. What's lovely about this experience is the word putana means puta na. So purity, not, the one who's impure. And Bhagavan Krishna took all of her impurity away. In other words, he took the na away. And what remained? Puta. When they burned Putana, what was the fragrance that came out? Sandalwood. Imagine when I get burned, I'm going to smell like our compost bin. But with Putana, this demoness, Bhagavan Krishna stole all of that ignorance from her. He focused on stop doing, start being. Being who? Be me. In Swami Tejomayan, the references other people who are like him, as in Bhagavan Krishna, Acharya Shankara, Sri Ramana, Swami Vivekananda. These are all people whom we know about. Their lives have been documented. And if they can do it, we can too. If Narendranath Datta is an atheist, and none of us perhaps have been atheists, that we've always been oriented towards theism, maybe we're ahead of him in a non-comparative way. And we'll study one more verse, verse 10. Etad bhagavato vakyam swatma shuddhyeka siddhaye vicharyate maya samyak Shri Harir me prasidatam. Together. Etad bhagavato vakyam swatma shuddhyeka siddhaye vicharyate maya samyak Shri Harir me prasidatam. Manah Shodanam shares here, Etad bhagavato vakyam, the words of Bhagavan, referencing the earlier verse, referencing Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Krishna is sharing that to appreciate jnana, one has to engage in inquiry. In Upadesha Sara, the last portion of the text is on jnana yoga, and the focus of that jnana yoga is inquiry. What happens when you start to inquire? We start to change our identification. We start to change our identification with inquiry. It's like someone who has a sense of entitlement. When they travel, they see people who don't have enough food. They see people who live in a simpler way. They sleep in a simpler way. Slowly that experience, that exposure changes or hopefully dismantles that sense of entitlement, isn't it? But if someone is always exposed to richness, they just feel entitled to that. If I just feel that I'm this body, and I'm not exposed to any other science that I may be the breath or the mind, then my identification is only with the body, right? Almost all of you are in the meditation and life course, and how we are hammering that we're not the body. And if I inquire into that, all of a sudden my identification changes, that there's a whole breath sheath. What was I doing just living at the body level? So inquiry changes our identification, and once you change your identification, your limitations change too. It's like now that we have a child, we're eligible for certain government benefits. Our identification has changed, right? So like that. Swatma Shuddha Eka Siddhaye. Siddhaye, Siddha here means purpose. Eka Siddha. Our singular purpose should be Swa Atma Shuddhi. Should be the purification of one's Atma. Now, is that possible? Can you purify the Atma? Here, Atma is referring to the mind. Hence, Manah Shodanam. And this begins, this purity of mind, the efforts for purity of mind begin when we start to appreciate that we're living at the mind level. We are not living at the body level. Where is taste? Is taste on your tongue or is taste in your mind? We're living at the mind level. And if I can appreciate that I'm living at the mind level, my problems in life are not physical, they're psychological. I have no physical problems. I have very little physical problems. And even if I have a physical problem, if my psychology is strong enough, that physical problem has less of an influence on me, no? For those who received the e-vichara today, I had written, those who are sickly are alive, yet not living. And the commentary to that is, when someone doesn't have a bigger purpose than their body is constantly dying, isn't it? Our bodies are constantly changing, and we're in flux because of that. But when my purpose is bigger than my body, then even though my body is dying and is changing, I'm not shaken by it. Psychological challenges can only be resolved with psychological solutions, not physical. I'll tell you more about that. Vicharyate maya samyak. Here, Swami Tejamananda is as if speaking to himself. We're speaking to ourselves. We're going to engage in this inquiry, and in this inquiry, we are not going to be okay with a quick fix. Usually when we have this psychological challenge, when our mind is owning us, there's a quick fix. Let's go for a jog, let's go shopping, let's go to sleep. And because I'm seeking that quick fix, I never understand the true psychology of my problems. I never understand the mind. It's like having this brilliant idea, but you can't hold on to it long enough for it to become a reality because I'm just busy, you know? So this happens with our vices also. Sensitivity is needed. And the sensitivity is the costs that come with having vices, the costs that come with not understanding our psychology, our mind. We underestimate those costs. Vijayadashmi had come, today's Deepavali, and many people have taken vratas, they've made vows to change in certain ways, to eat less, to speak less, whatever it is. And it's hard to change those habits. And a key way to continue with that vow, with that tapas, is to remember the benefits. You know, when you don't overeat, you have to keep on remembering the benefit of how light you feel, how good you feel. Being a morning person, as an example. We have it all mixed up. We keep focusing on the benefits of vices and the costs of virtues, isn't it? But someone who wants to engage in vichara, I have to be sensitive to the costs of vices and the benefits of virtues. Shri Harir me prasidatam. I am doing this for my Bhagwan. I am doing this for my God, so that he may be cheerful. She may be pleased with me. There's a lot of depth in this. The only way that Bhagwan, our original parent, will be content is when we come home. As long as we don't come home, she will always miss us. True? Always miss us. Now, many of you are students. How happy your parents are when you come home. Many of us are parents. How happy we are when our kids come home. Yes? Now imagine this divine relationship, because ours are pretty fickle. We're happy for some time when our kids are home or you're with your parents. But in this divine relationship where you're home once and for all. So that's when Bhagwan will be content. As if Bhagwan is not content, but will be more content when we come home. And with this now, our orientation of Manah Shodanam is complete. Because until now, we were studying the mind and what's going on with the mind, and now we know we have to inquire. So the orientation is complete. Now we have to inquire. It's like the first 10 days of school. You don't really do anything. You don't really begin studying until that period is over, right? So for us too, it's great that our orientation is complete and now we can inquire. Oh. Nada.